Okay, so we're going to look at the first section of this song that's in A minor. Our first phrase is... Now this is the way I like to play it. There are other ways of playing this, which I'll show you later, but I found this is the best way. I'm barring finger 1, fret 5 on strings 1, 2 and 3, and I have finger 3 on fret 7 of string 4, which is note A. So we have this. And I'm using my thumb, annular, and then index. And then I move my third finger down to fret 7, which is note D, and then I've got my pinky on fret 8 of string 2, which is G. And I play that with my thumb and middle. So we have this. And then I'll move my third finger back to the A, and then release my other fingers, and with my thumb and annular, I play the A, fretted A, and then the open E string. Once through. Now our next phrase brings us down to the position 1 of the guitar. We have... So fairly straightforward, this one. I use my thumb for the A, string 3, fret 2, and then we have C, D and open G, fret 3 in the open G string, pinky on the G, fret 3, string 1, and then that comes away, and then we're back to the A and open E. So we have this. Phrase 3. A little bit of a stretch. Finger 1 on A, fret 2 on string 3, and then my pinky reaches over to fret 5 on string 1, which is the A. So we've got an octave. Then I kind of slide my pinky down, not so you hear the slide, it just kind of, I find it better than taking your pinky off and then replacing it on fret 3. You could easily miss it. So I just kind of use the string as a guide, bring my pinky down. Finger 1 goes on C, string 2, fret 1. And I do a pull off. My thumb is playing string 2, and even my index or my middle fingers playing the first string. And now we just have a double pull off. So we got fret 3, pull off to fret 2, the F sharp, and then pull off to the open E. You could use finger 3 and 2, and then the open. Just personal preference. I prefer to use the pinky. One benefit of doing that is when I'm doing my pull off, my third finger is all kind of ready in the area where it's going to go down on the next notes. See that? Rather than, because when you pull off, your third finger is coming away and you have to bring it all the way back over. If you do it this way, your third finger's kind of hovering. But personal preference, it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, so we have, and then the next part, I use finger 2, you could use finger 1, but I've got finger 2 on A, fret 3, string 2, fret 2, string 3, and then the open E. I keep it there for the A and the open D, and then I take that finger off, the third finger goes on the C bass note with the open G, and then I finish on kind of like an A power chord really, fingers 1 and 2 on E and A, and we've got the open A there. And it's going to be thumb and finger, so thumb and whatever finger really. I think I'm using my middle. And then thumb and index is my go-to. And then I'd probably use thumb and middle. And then thumb, index, middle. So that's that first section. Now, variations. There's other people doing videos of this song and they may have it a slightly different way. What I mean by that are the notes and the rhythms, everything's the same, but you can play the same notes in different places. So the main part is the first measure. I like it this way. To me, that makes sense. It's comfortable. And I like the tone of the notes. You could play it this way. You could do 2 A's here, C, and you could do a D and a G here. And then you open E and the A here. So you could do it this way compared to, you know, you could also do this. But again, my personal choice, preference, is what I showed you. Okay, so now we're on to section B of the song. This is in the key of E minor. And it's just another short 4-bar little phrase that repeats. We start off with the E minor chord. Now you could use your thumb for this, but I prefer to have a little bit more control, and I use my thumb, index, middle and annular finger. I rake my thumb across strings 6, 5, 4, and then I use my index for string 3, my middle for string 2, and my annular for the string 1, the E string. So instead of a thumb, I play it this way. After this, he jumps up to note B, fret 7 on string 1. I use my pinky. You could use finger 3, but I use my pinky because of the next chord, which is a bar chord at fret 5, and my third finger coming in on F sharp, which is fret 7 of string 2. That's why I use my pinky, is then I've got that easier transition. But if you can do your third finger and you can switch in time, that's fine. Personal choice. Now, with this, I do believe there's a bit of staccato on the B, so you don't have to hold on to it. You don't have to do this. It's this song has quite a bounce to it, almost like a dance. And then this shape here that I have, I move it up to position 7, another same bar chord, but I've got my finger 2 on fret 8 of string 2, which is a G. I play the thumb and probably my middle finger. I play them together and I pull off to the F sharp. And then I go to the E, which is on fret 9 of string 3. So from here, and then I'll just quickly move finger 1 up to the B, fret 7, string 6. And then I have open strings 6, 3 and 1, which is E, G and E, which I play with my thumb, index and annular. That gives me time to move down for the next phrase. So let me go through those 2 phrases again. E minor, staccato on B, and then I'm going to go to my bar chord at fret 5, finger 3 on F sharp, move it up, have finger 2 on note G, pull off to my E with finger 3. And then we're going to come up to our B bass note, open strings, E, G and E. And I'm going to come down here, this is the third phrase, third measure. And then we have G and open B, open A and C sharp. And then we have a B and a D sharp. And here we kind of have an E minor again, but I'm not holding down the E minor chord. I'm just playing the open strings 6, 3, 2 and 1, which is E, G, B and E. Still gives you an E minor chord, but it's a little bit weaker sounding, and I ripple it with my thumb, index, middle and annular. The reason why I don't play the whole E minor chord is because when we repeat, that's what we're playing back on bar 1 of this section. And I don't want it to have too much of a strong sound. I don't want it to sound like this. I just personally think it sounds better Now, this section repeats just how like the first section repeated, but we do have a different ending. The first time round we had this. Finishing on E minor, but here we have a tierce to Picardy, which is basically something that's in a minor key, but we end it on the major tonic. So this is in E minor, this section. Our ears kind of naturally want to hear E minor at the end because that's our home. But instead, we get a tierce to Picardy, which basically means we play an E major instead of E minor. So the last phrase, instead of this, we have this. So this is typical with early music. It sounds very Renaissance to me. And it's kind of a surprise chord. You don't expect it. And it kind of gives it an uplifting, kind of almost like a happy ending. So I'll put that together. So step by step through section B, starting with the E minor chord. Repeats. I'll do that again. So when you play this tierce to Picardy, this E major at the end, which is our open E, our G sharp, sorry, open E, should play the right string, our G sharp, and our open E, this G sharp is so important. So do make sure you don't accidentally mute the string where it's not being heard. It has to really ring through. Otherwise you won't get that surprise effect. Now, like with section 1, there are variations where you can play the same notes in different places. So for example, after the staccato fret 7B, I choose to bar it. Now I have seen it this way before, so you could do that. And the next section, or the next measure, the next phrase, I've seen it this way. So you could play it like this. But to me, there's two reasons why I'm doing it the way I have. Firstly, when I listen to the recording, you can tell the difference between an open string and a fretted string. So for example, this is E. I can play the same note on string 2, fret 5, string 3, fret 9, string 4, fret 14, and string 5, kind of fret 19. But there's a clear difference in tone. I mean, fret 19 sounds terrible. String 1 sounds clear and ringing. When I listen to the recording, I don't hear this open D, and if I was to play the next phrase like this, I just don't hear the crispness and of the E ringing through. And actually in the recording, this E doesn't ring, which leads me to believe that it's fretted, because then he has to move. And now there's be other people that disagree with me, but the way I've transcribed this is how I hear it tonally, where I think the notes are being played, and also just what's comfortable under my fingers. Okay.